for next, we have Nichole.Josey, who is a Detroit Piston dancer, who's going to tell us her story about conquering Chiari. Also going to lead our walk today. She's going to be our, our team captain. All right, so come on over. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And her family has been a huge part of our walk every year, so we really appreciate that. There is a piston basket over there in the auction, just so you know. All right, cool. All right, we'll let it get started. Thanks.
So I was diagnosed with Chiari back in December of 2011. But as most people here that have Chiari, you know, your journey starts way before your diagnosis is actually given to you. I started having symptoms back in the summer of 2009, and they were probably 2.5 of the hardest and darkest years I would have to say of my whole life that I can remember. I remember bouncing from doctor to doctor, receiving what I felt like was like 100 different possibilities of what could be going on with me, but each time I left the doctor, I never felt a solution. I never felt like I was finding answers or like I was going to find any hope for anything to get better. I knew I didn't feel well, I knew something wasn't right, but nothing was there to help me. And then I'm going to all these numerous doctors and they're telling me that I'm fine. And so obviously it had to be something in my head, and obviously there was nothing wrong with me because they would know, right? I started to become depressed. I figured out that like I wasn't living my life. I was just going through the motions of living life and just getting up to do the daily tasks that I had to do. I didn't care to go any more doctors. I didn't care to have any more tests. And as a lot of people with Chiari probably know and experience themselves, you just stop caring to even really get out of bed and do anything. Thankfully, my family didn't let me do that though. They kept advocating for me, and they were like my rock throughout the whole thing. They kept pushing me when I felt like I had no hope and I had no one to turn to, when I felt like the doctors were kind of pushing me away. I just knew that I had them and had them to look to. Although the diagnosis of Chiari started a whole new path and a whole new journey for me, I, for once in my life, 2.5 years later, felt hope because I had an answer and I had something that I could look into. When I heard that brain surgery was the answer and the result to what was going to hopefully make me feel better one day, and maybe would last just a little bit, I was terrified. I remember sitting in my neurosurgeon's office. My surgery was actually out in New York. It wasn't here in Michigan. And I remember just feeling like I was waiting to wake up for a dream. Like I couldn't be sitting here talking about possibly having to have brain surgery. That wasn't going to be me. With my family, we decided that I was going to go through with the surgery, and even if it gave me a year, 6 months, 2 years, 2 weeks of relief of what I was feeling, that it was going to be worth it. So we scheduled my decompression surgery for August 14th of 2012. I unfortunately had a complication after my first surgery, and I had to go back for an emergency repair surgery 2 weeks later, back out to New York. But I was lucky enough to wake up from that second surgery ready for a healthy and speedy recovery, and luckily I'm here today to be able to say that I'm in my 4th season dancing for the NBA, which at one point was just a dream of mine as a little girl that I thought would be completely obsolete and probably never happen when I found out I had Chiari. I remember like after surgery, the whole year of recovery right after, I remember enjoying having a normal headache, and I remember enjoying actually sitting through a full concert and not feeling like I wanted to push my head through a wall, or being able to fly and not bust into tears. I remember being able to stay awake for longer than 4.5 hours or 5 hours and actually enjoying what was going on in my days. I still have rough days. I mean, we always will. It's like they say, surgery isn't a cure. We're still trying to find that cure, but surgery is a fix. And Chiari, living with Chiari isn't easy for any of us, but I would have to say that living with Chiari is still a blessing. It's turned me into the person that I am today. The struggles that we face and the things that we go through, they make us stronger, and they help us see life in a different way. They help us not pay attention to those little pesky things that most people get upset about and that most people are complaining about, because we know that there's so much more to life that's in front of us. If you would have asked me 4 years ago where I would be today, I would have never thought that I would be saying that I was living basically pain-free, a college graduate that was going into my 4th year of dancing for the NBA. 4 years ago, 4+ years ago, doing the simple daily tasks were hard. They were like impossible to even want to focus on doing. Throughout my journey with Chiari, I would say I learned a lot about myself and I learned a lot about my life. But the thing that probably stuck with me most was that no matter what you're going through, and no matter how hard it might be, and no matter how much you want to give up, don't give up. You have to keep pushing, you have to keep going after your dreams. You can't let whatever you're going through stop you. And you have to keep fighting, because there is hope for better days and there is hope for feeling better. And in life, there's just, you have to keep going. There's hope, and we will hopefully one day find a cure for Chiari, but until then, you know, we have support systems within our family and our friends. We have support like all the different chats on Facebook, and we have walks like this, and together we can all stay strong and we can all fight Chiari together.
Thank you. I want to give Nichole this award because her family, it is me, I swear. Her family has been a huge part of our walk for many years. So their contributions honestly have been endless. And thank you so much, Nichole, for telling us your story. I think a lot of us can relate to that. All right, thank you.